Stillness is the deepest motion. Even the name sounds paradoxical. The world around us moves very fast, and it's speeding up with every decade. And we are taught to move with it faster and faster, louder and louder, always doing more. But have you ever noticed that the most profound shifts often happen not when we move, but when we become still in the moment? This is the paradox. Stillness is not the absence of motion. It's the ground from which true motion arises. So the mistake people make is they think stillness is inactivity. No, stillness is not inactivity. Many people confuse stillness also with stagnation. But stillness isn't stuck. It's vibrant, it's alive. It's the quiet intelligence that holds the seed before it sprouts. It's the silence between the notes and the chants that gives music its true meaning. In Vedic cosmology, before creation, there is Purna, the wholeness. And from that stillness, movement begins. Or like it says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. From that, all beings are born. Into that, they will merge again in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Meaning, stillness is the womb of creation. To return to stillness is not regression. It is remembrance of the Genesis. It is about tuning and being in sync with the whole. There is also a science of stillness. Modern neuroscience reveals something that even ancient sages knew. Moments of stillness, whether through meditation, slow breath, silence, all activate the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing inflammation in the body, increasing neuroplasticity, and restoring balance within. In other words, your body heals not when it's busy running, but when it is still. I've sat with CEOs and monks alike, and what they all discover eventually, it sometimes takes time, but eventually they discover is that stillness is not the break from life. It's the deepest rhythm, the most natural rhythm of life. By the way, one thing I would like to remind you, motion without stillness is just noise. We live in a culture addicted to what we call productivity, whatever that meant. But doing more doesn't mean you are becoming more in any meaningful way. Without stillness, motion becomes mindless busyness. Without a silence in your heart, speech becomes shallow. Without pause, effort becomes just burnout. There is a reason why spiritual traditions across the world, across thousands of years, emphasize sabhat, retreat, sadhana, because the deepest motion begins in an internal stillness. Action without alignment is just noise. It truly is. That drains you. So today, ask yourself, am I moving because I am truly inspired down to my soul, or just because I am too afraid to be still? If I'm still, I might smell myself. I might actually notice who I have become. That's why I keep moving. It can be very confronting. So here is the sacred contradiction. Stillness is not the opposite of movement. It is the source of it. Stillness is not what happens when everything stops. It is what remains when everything unnecessary falls away. When you are still, you're not doing nothing. You're becoming aware of everything. Remember, everything, nothing are two sides of the same coin. The pure consciousness of stillness is from which the whole universe arrives. It is true that to be still can be very hard. And yet, most deep insights come in moments of stillness. Because moments of stillness is a sense of everything is in harmony and balance. And you have tuned out the noise. So healing, creativity, surrender unfoldment of the future, sense of inner empowerment, it all comes from stillness. In fact, it's the sound of this stillness that creates the joy of being in tune with life. If you allow the stillness to be embodied within you, not as something you do, but as someone you've become, someone who has a sense of deep, calm stillness inside while moving through the world with grace and power. So today, take a moment to slow down. Ask yourself, can I for once honor the quiet spaces in my day as sacred, as profound? Wonder what might emerge if I allowed silence to speak. Silence speaks very loudly, by the way, when you listen to it. Am I willing to pause? Not to escape, but to, for the first time, truly listen. Stillness is not passive, it is presence. And sometimes doing nothing is the more powerful thing you can do. By the way, by doing nothing, I don't mean dolce far niente. What I simply mean is sitting in a space of presence, connecting with who you are, and finding that rhythm of oneness with the universe. So take a moment, sit still, breathe, let stillness move through you. Experience that oneness with the universe. Experience that sense of inner flow. Find the rhythm of life in which you can be truly alive, in motion with stillness. Then the paradox you shall embody.